Yeah, the ladies are gonna like me with my new coffee scented cologne going on here. It's gonna be fabulous. Okay, let's roll the opening credits and let's start the show. Hi everybody, Chris the Caregiver here, and I want to welcome you to my show, Chris the Caregiver. Today's episode, you know what? I'm just going to start by saying this. You guys are amazing caregivers. Just go, whether you're somebody who has parents who are aging and you had to inherit the responsibility of being a caregiver, or you're in the sandwich generation, you've got kids that are depending upon you, but you also have your aging parents who are also depending upon you. I've seen a lot of that go on. And, or you're somebody like me who just really, their heart's into it. They really want to do it. They really want to care about people. And so they went out and filled out a job application and got that opportunity and just found out it was just their calling, like me. Your calling, just like me. Or you're someone who's doing this, but you're only here just long enough to get an education from a college or some kind of school so you can go on and be a physical therapist or an occupational therapist, or the most common one I've seen is nurse. Understandable completely. Or I've seen a few of my audience and such who actually want to go out and be EMTs and paramedics. I think it's great. I really have nothing but the utmost admiration for you, whatever the case may be. Doing what you love and all, and going after what you want in life. I think it's amazing. Okay. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of people's plans and everything get derailed by drama. And I have had, what should have been an okay or an amazing work experience get totally ruined and turn into an uncomfortable work environment simply because of drama. Whether you go out and it's your fault and you get into it, or it just happens around you, whatever the case may be. And I don't want that for you. I want you to succeed. I want you to be the best caregiver you can be for the elderly. Whether you have to do it, you inherited it, you didn't ask to do it, but it was just put upon you, or you went out there and you went to some agency for home health, or or personal care, agency like me, like what I work for, or whatever the case may be. You went out and you filled out that application and you signed up for it. And I want you to be responsible and do the best you can at it and succeed and be successful. And I really want that for you. So, but for me to help you with that, you're going to have to, let's just start over. One way I know to help you succeed is to avoid drama in the workplace. So without further ado, we're going to get on with today's episode, which is going to be 5 tips to help you reduce or avoid workplace or facility drama. Let's dive right in with the first tip, which is
have a good attitude.
Yeah. Tip number 1, which is understand that attitude is everything. Try to have a good attitude. Attitude is very, very important. Try to be kind and respectful to people. When people are talking to you, give them your full attention and put your phone in your pocket. Okay? And hear what they got to say. Try to listen. Okay? Also, when you're receiving criticism, don't get defensive right away. Again, just listen. Okay? Okay. I know it's not easy. I know you feel like offering an apology and explaining and talking over somebody and not letting them get a word in edgewise, but really that doesn't solve the problem. That just worsens it. So it's always better to be quiet and not defensive and just let somebody speak and listen and give them your attention and have your phone put away. Okay? That's important. And always say please and thank you when you ask for something or somebody does something nice for you. Other things too, do try to help people as much as you can. It's, even in a facility where I'm not allowed to change a client's dirty soiled briefs and clothing by themselves, I always try to help, or at least offer to help the staff do it. Okay. Instead of waiting for them to have to bring in two people or leaving somebody stuck to have to do that by themselves. That's just wrong. Okay. I can't tell you how embarrassed I am when I've heard stories like that. At one facility I was working at where all the aides and the caregivers there were stuck having to change my clients' soiled clothing and briefs by themselves while the caregiver's just sitting on the couch on their phone. It's awful. Same thing too when you're working with occupational and physical therapists and their assistants and speech therapists and their assistants. Please try to understand that you are the sitter, not them. So don't be going off to the soda machine. Don't be going to your car to take a break. Don't be running up to McDonald's. Sit in that therapy room if there's room, and you are welcome to, of course. And be there to help them out. Okay? If they want or need your help bouncing a ball to your client and having your client bounce the ball back, do it. Okay? Don't walk off and abandon the therapy people. That's another common complaint I've gotten over the years that I've been doing this job. And again, another reason why I made this channel. And when people are talking to you, give them your attention. Put your phone up. I can't believe, for most of the 8 or 9 years I'd been doing that and didn't realize how rude I really was being that way. But the instant I started breaking that habit and putting my phone up, I started growing in popularity. And again, this is the level of success that I want for you. So yes, when someone's talking to you, give them your attention and put your phone away. I don't care who it is. Okay? I don't care how important or how little of importance you think that person is, or how much you like them or don't like them. Put the phone away and give them your attention. Okay? And of course, finally, try to be as helpful as you can, but also try not to get in the way at the same time. And if you're unsure and you're worried you're going to get in somebody's way, just simply don't do it. And another bonus tip too, if you're not going to help somebody when you really wanted to or whatever, don't offer an apology or an explanation to that person. They most likely don't have time to hear it or don't want to hear it anyways. So just be self-assured that you're fine, people like you, and move on. And speaking of moving on, I'm going on to tip number 2, which is
treat everybody the same and treat them really good.
Treat everybody the same and treat them as well as you can. Okay? Yeah, that's right. Do unto others as you'll have them do unto you. If I'm working in a facility and I am willing to help, the wellness director or the memory care director load a heavy box into her van in between work assignments or before clocking in for a work assignment, you best believe I'm willing to do it for every single person in that facility, bar none, period. Okay? All right? It's good work ethic. It's good manners. It's actually noticed by my employers and their higher ups. You know, and it just goes to avoid workplace drama and everything. You know, you won't be giving people the opportunity to say, well, Chris hates me because I'm this or I'm that. Because I work as a cleaning crew member. You have to be a wellness director before he'll like you and talk to you. See, all that's been avoided and reduced simply because I treat everybody the same and I treat them well. You know, also another thing too, when you look down on a certain group of people, but you look up on the higher ups and everything, not only is that noticed and you're not fooling anybody and people are sensing in on that, but that kind of attitude can come back and haunt you. Okay. I remember when I worked as a school custodian for 1 year, I knew one lady, she was a cleaning crew member, and she just got hired on, and everybody hated this woman. They were bullying her, belittling her. Well, guess what happened? 6 to 8 months after hitting the payroll, she got promoted to head custodian. And now the shoe is on the other foot. She was the boss. And you better believe all those people that were bullying her, hating her, complaining on her, she didn't forget that happened. And see, that's the kind of situation I don't want you in. I want you guys to avoid it. Because again, I can't stress this enough. I want you to be a successful caregiver for the elderly and to succeed when you work in facilities. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to tip number 3 before this video gets too long, and that is...
Yes, avoid gossip and do not start rumors or pass on rumors, and do not gossip.
Yes, tip number 3, avoid the gossip. Do not gossip, do not spread rumors, do not talk bad about people. Do not whine or complain. Okay? Don't do it. It's unprofessional. It makes you look ugly. It makes people hate you. Okay? And again, you guys are amazing caregivers and people. I want success for you guys. I don't want to see you guys ruin it over stupid things like holding a grudge against somebody, or being unable to resist that temptation to go around and spread a rumor you heard about somebody. That might not even be true, by the way, and all. Just don't do it. And when you do hear a rumor and everything, overhear something, because I've overheard them before, don't repeat what you heard. Just keep it to yourself. Okay? It builds trust and it builds respect and it makes people like you. And again, it's professional and all. That person who's being talked bad about or whatever, that might be tomorrow's wellness director. And if you spoke bad things to that person, I'm going to tell you right now, that new wellness director is going to know. They're going to know you. They're going to know you did it, and they're not going to forget it. Likewise, if you've been helpful, you've done good things for that person and everything, they're going to reward you for that. Okay, I remember when I worked as a school custodian back in the year 2000. I knew one lady. She was a school custodian, and it's a long story talking about her, but people hated her. People did not like her, and they often spoke bad about her. Okay, 6 to 8 months later, after she got hired on for that job, she became the head custodian of a school, and some of the people that were talking bad about it wound up on her payrolls. And let me tell you something, that lady did not forget all those bad things that were being spread. Okay, it created a really bad, awkward situation, one that I do not want to find my audience in ever. Okay. You know, don't spread rumors. Don't gossip. And when you hear it, get away from it. Sometimes, if necessary, they're talking bad about somebody you like. It's okay to step in and say something, you know, and stand up for them. Maybe say, you know, and you don't have to be mean or ready to fist fight or slap somebody or anything. You can just politely say, look, I really like this person. I don't think it's right that you're talking about them. And then leave it at that. Okay. And then a bonus tip before I move on to the next one. I know this video is starting to run long. Gush, don't gossip. In other words, if you are going to talk about somebody, make sure it's only the good and the positive and the things you like. You know, don't put anybody on a pedestal, obviously, of course, but you know, it's okay to say something good about somebody when you do have to talk about them. I'm always telling my client's daughter, the lady who pays the bills that keeps me employed, I'm always telling her good things about staff members I hear. And let me tell you something. She's taking those good things that she's hearing, you know, about those staff members, and she's going straight to the memory care director and telling them all that stuff. And that's why they all like Chris when he shows up. Okay, let me move on to tip number 4 before this video goes into a 4-hour session. And I'll go with tip number 4, which is
be a problem solver and not a pot stirrer or troublemaker.
Yeah. Tip number 4, focus on being a problem solver and not a pot stirrer. Okay. You know, instead of always having to go to your supervisor with something to gripe and complain and whine about, maybe tell them that, maybe see if you can come up with a solution or try to present an idea that you have if it's appropriate. Don't violate chain of command, of course. I'm talking about with your immediate direct supervisor. Okay, or you know, maybe do that. But when I did security, okay, I worked for I used to guard an abandoned, rundown building, and one of my jobs was to go through it and kick out all the squatters or the homeless people that tried to move into it, and to prevent them from coming in the first place. It was a pretty interesting assignment. But the gentleman in charge of security that I worked for, my immediate supervisor, he was a gentleman who went by the name Tommy. And what Tommy used to say to me is, Chris, you are on my payroll, you are my officer. Okay? When you come to me with a problem, I also want you to come to me with a solution. Otherwise, don't come to me with a problem. And I always did that for him, and you know what? He gave me high praise, high remarks. He got me a pay raise. He kept me on the payroll. He stood up for me. And not only that, he taught me good work ethic that has helped me become the successful caregiver that I am today. The kind of success that I want for you as my audience, because I care about you. All right? I really do. And yes, I want you, if you're going to go to your boss, or you're going to go to complain to somebody with a problem or whatever, be sure you're willing to come up with a solution as well to suggest. Okay. Examples of that may be, like, say you have a scheduling conflict. You've got a doctor's appointment and you can't work on a certain day. Maybe offer to switch days with somebody, come in on a day that you're supposed to be off while you take that day off, or what have you, or offer to stay late. I've done that before. I mean, things like that. It's very, very considerate for that person in charge of scheduling. It really helps them out a lot. They really appreciate it. And let me tell you something. They're telling their bosses about that, kind of behavior, that kind of caring and considerate attitude that you have, okay, and their bosses are turning right around and they're appreciating me and telling me about it and telling me how grateful I am for making their staff's job 1,000 times easier. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the fifth and final tip. The fifth and final tip, and that is,
please try to remember who signs your paycheck.
remember who signs your paycheck. All right, and also remember who the paying customer is. Don't be making fun of those people. Don't be talking bad about those people, especially. And when you're critical or you don't like a policy or something that they have, you need to do two things about it. Okay? Put up and shut up, or make an appointment to go talk to that supervisor about that problem and see if you can resolve it in a mature, responsible way. Which, you know, that's the best thing you can do. And unfortunately, sometimes you may still have to put up and shut up. But it's still the right thing to do. And if you don't like it, hit the door. Okay? But yes, always remember who signs your paychecks and who your paying customers are. Okay? And treat them with respect, obviously. I can't believe I have to tell my audience that. Okay? You know, too often when I'm on assignments and stuff, whether they're in the facilities or they're in the home, or I'm working with people from other agencies, I can't tell you how many times I'm hearing complaints about their hours, complaints about their pay, complaints about a policy that's going on. You know, I find it annoying. I find it ugly. I find it disrespectful. I find it unprofessional. I can't even believe I have to make this tip and risk getting maybe 2 or 3 views and getting like 20 million thumbs down on this video because it ran too long just to try to get this message out. I really can't believe it, but I'm doing it anyways. Yeah, you know, I mean, that's, you know, again, keep the whining and the complaining to a minimum. All right? And if you don't like something and you still are willing to put up with it or whatever, just simply put up with it and don't say anything. It's really I mean, it's simple. I know it's hard to master, but it's simple yet hard to master. I know. I get it. I'm a human being just like you are, who's had these problems too. But I'm telling you, if you can successfully do this, you will be a successful caregiver. Okay? And now, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys a bonus tip. Let me move on and let me give you guys a bonus tip right now that will also reduce workplace facility drama. Right now.
Follow the chain of command.
Sorry, little Timmy, you don't get to go to recess just yet because it's time for your last bonus tip that I have that I want you guys to follow to avoid and reduce workplace drama and to be a good caregiver when you're working in a facility. And that is, for you, I want you to always try to follow the chain of command in most cases. Okay? Not only is it professional behavior, not only is it good conduct, not only is it going to get you high praise and high remarks and everything, but it's going to help whatever goal is going on, you know, whatever operation is going on, whatever business is trying to be run that you're having to help run, all run that much smoother. Okay? And I can't really stress how much it's followed. I probably should do another video. I probably should do a future video on my show, you know, specifically dedicated to following chain of command. You know what? I might do that. Let me put that in my notes when I get done filming here. But trust me when I tell you, when you're working in a facility, whoever's in charge of that facility, that director of nursing or that executive director or what have you, not only do they notice you when you follow chain of command, but they appreciate you, because 99.9% of any complaint that you possibly have doesn't make it to their desk or to their ears. Okay? Or when it does, it has been run through and run by every single supervisor, between whoever, or every single person on the staff, between whoever you told and whoever goes to that director of nursing or that executive director and all. And that's really the last bonus tip I have. Before I go, I'm going to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. There's not going to be a video upload next week. I'm going to take the week off for Thanksgiving. But before I go, just please make sure you're subscribed. Please give me a thumbs up anyways. Really does help me. Leave me a comment and all. Maybe you have bonus tips and such that I missed. You know, I filmed in a hurry and I can't cover everything. So maybe that can add in for future shows and everything to help me help you care for the elderly and all. And then tell your friends and family. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell notification icon that's somewhere down here, and make sure you got it always on so you know when I upload something. And again, have a good evening and happy Thanksgiving. Bye.